The ability to outposition your opponent is a must for when you fight. Angles create a big breakaway moment but are a big time sink, and lanes are quick but they're quick to be matched. Today we're going to talk about pairing these movements so that you can have the most success when you fight. In boxing, angles are thought of as the holy grail of positional dominance. See Mike Tyson, Lomachenko, Roy Jones Jr. And once they're established, they're wonderful, but they do have their drawbacks. Helping me demo for today's lesson is going to be our coach, competitor, and Tri-State Golden Glove champion, Gretchen. Angles are easy to see coming, they're easy to escape, they're a big time and energy sink, and they take you farther out of position as you travel to them. Changing lanes isn't orbiting around a central point, like when I'm taking an angle. It is simply a step to the side, either left or right. Lanes are easily established, but they're easily matched. And unlike an angle that creates a very dominant position, a lane creates a 50-50 position. Whereas angles create an opportunity to attack your opponent's center line, lanes create an opportunity to attack behind your opponent's guard. By pairing these two techniques together, their weaknesses are covered by each other's strengths, and you effectively juke your opponent to outposition them. You want to pair the opposing technique and the opposing direction to create this high percentage sequence. For example, you would pair your lane with your angle, angle with your lane, open side with your closed side with your open side. This pairing of techniques and direction creates 4 sequences you need to master. As with feints, you want to play to your audience. People have a tendency to decide that they're going to pair lanes and angles, and they run through these positions so fast that they give up dominant positions. You want to remember that you want to step back as your opponent turns to meet you. And on the other side of that spectrum, against a very reactive opponent, you might feint to a position before cutting back so that you can establish that more quickly. So a real-world example of this that most people are going to be familiar with is one of Mike Tyson's signature sequences, where he feints taking that closed side lane, kick steps to his open side angle, and then attacks the center line with his 6. This is the same concept of pairing lanes and angles and attacking the center line, following it, being expressed at the highest levels of the sport. Learning the interaction between lanes and angles opens up offensive and defensive opportunities when you fight. It demoralizes your opponent. Look no farther than somebody like Mike Tyson, who we made an example of earlier, Lomachenko, Roy Jones Jr., Canelo, and countless others for examples of this at the highest level of the sport. When you don't have a coach present, one of my favorite pieces of equipment to use is the headhunter bag or the slip bag. It gives me feedback and it gives me a rhythm to anchor myself to let me know if I'm doing this correctly. So I can practice all 4 of these lane, angle, angle, lane sequences on this bag, and it holds me to a pacing, to a standard. The feedback that it gives me to let me know if I did this in a timely manner is I should be in a position to finish on a hook. So let's start with our closed side angle into our open side lane, finishing on the hook. Angle, lane, finishing on the hook. If I miss the hook, angle, lane, I took too long. This should be 4 beats. Step, pivot, step, hit. Our next example is our open side angle into our closed side lane. Once again, this is 4 beats. Step, 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 hit. When starting with lanes, I'm gonna be taking my angle with this bag behind my head. So beginning with our closed side lane into our open side angle, and our final example is our open side lane into our closed side angle, finishing on the 3. Practice this with a partner or on your own on the Headhunter bag so that you can go from a fist magnet to a phantom for when you fight. Hi.
Stop.
Lanes are easily, go ahead.
Sorry. Thank you.
Lanes are easily established, but